This time yesterday, I was on my way back from Portugal, having run the Lisbon Marathon. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all about it. Welcome to PKS Runs. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul, I'm PKS Runs sub 3 hour marathoner, and in this short video I'm going to tell you my story of the Lisbon Marathon yesterday. But before we carry on, I would just ask one favour: smash the like button, hit the subscribe and hit that bell button so that you're notified when there are new videos. There are going to be a few videos following the Lisbon Marathon. I don't want you to miss out. I don't want you to miss any of the live content, so do give me a like and a follow. Would really appreciate that. So I'm out just doing a very slow recovery run after the Lisbon Marathon, and I want to tell you all about it. The night before the race, at about 9:30, I got an email from the race organisers to say that due to the heat wave, the race was going to be starting an hour earlier. 7 AM, not 8 AM, and that completely threw me. I spent the whole night worrying about waking up, about my fueling strategy, and just generally feeling like the plan had changed. And for those of you who have watched any of these videos, you'll know that I like to know what the plans are. I don't like changes. I'm a bit of a control freak, so this really threw me. So I didn't sleep particularly well. I had quite a restless night, was worrying about missing my alarm, was just generally anxious. Finally got up at about 5 AM, had a bowl of porridge, had some Weetabix, a Lucasade, and called an Uber to get me to the start line, which was about 40 minutes away on the motorway, which didn't really do anything for my nerves. I just spent the whole time thinking, oh my goodness, this really is a very, very long way. And I guess 26 miles is. The race started outside of Lisbon in a little beach town called Cascais, or Cascais, or Cascais. Never really got to grips with the pronunciation. But I got to the race start line at about 6:30, so in good time. And I'll say that my mindset at that point was one of I just felt defeated. I really did. I didn't want to run. I was feeling really sorry for myself and told myself that I was going to need to significantly change my mindset if I was going to get through this race. And so I wandered around and did a bit of self-talk, and by and large I was able to speak some positivity over myself, which is really encouraging. This is very much a mental game. I discovered at about 6:45 that I needed a poo, and this is where things started to unravel just a little bit. There were porta cabins, or portaloos, and I got into a queue, and I could tell there was no way I couldn't go. Like, I had to go. I got in this queue and we moved incredibly slowly. In fact, so slowly that at 7 o'clock, when the starter's gun went off, I was still in the queue. And at this point, honestly, I just kind of laughed. I really couldn't believe that I travelled all this way and made the effort to get up early and spent the start of the race in the toilet queue. I mean, an absolute shocker. I had planned that I would run with the 3:30 wave, and as the starting gun went off, I watched as the elite runners past, the 2:45s, the 3, the 3:30s, the 4s, the 4:30s, and the 5s, and the above 5s. And by the time I'd finally got out of the toilet, about 6.5 minutes after the race had started, I had the start line to myself. And oh dear. I mean, talk about a comedy of errors. I mean, look, if the race time hadn't changed, probably I would have been absolutely fine. That poo would have come through at the right time and it wouldn't have been an issue. But it didn't. From there, I basically had a bit of a choice. To be mopey and moany, or to make the best of it and have some fun. And I chose the latter. I chose to have fun. So if you've ever run a marathon, you'll know that getting off the start line is slow. It's always congested, it's always very bunched, and that's even if you're at the front of the pack. I was at the back of the pack, and so what I did was basically, initially I just had to run with the pace of the group. I caught the group at the back quite quickly and was stuck in some very, very slow traffic, and so spent the first couple of miles just weaving through the traffic quite slowly, weaving through the runners, and I set myself the target there and then of catching the 3:30 group. And as the race went on, I made that my goal. I was able to record some great Instagram lives and some videos with my camera as I went along, and they're going to be shared in a separate video, so do like and subscribe so you can see those. But I started incredibly slow and gradually increased my pace so that I could catch that group. I'd always said that I wanted this marathon to be fun, and I hadn't quite expected that it would be fun in this way. It became a 26.2 game of cat and mouse, where the mouse was the 3:30 group and I was the cat, and a big cat at that. So let's talk about the route itself. I mean, it is absolutely stunning. It really didn't disappoint. You start in Cascais and you run north along the coast for about 6 kilometers, maybe 8 kilometers before you turn, and then you follow the coast all the way back into Lisbon. And because we started early, we started in pitch black and was able to watch the sunrise over quaint beaches, watch surfers out on clean glassy waves, and just enjoy what really is an absolutely stunning route. There are no other ways to describe it. They say that it's one of the most beautiful marathons in the world, and I would absolutely agree. From a fueling perspective, it was brilliantly organised. There were water stations at, well, tons of points across the route. There was Powerade, there were bananas, there were energy gels. I actually dropped 2 of my energy gels whilst I was running. They slipped out of my fuel belt. I don't know why, but for some reason on the morning I made a last minute change to the fuel belt that I was going to wear. And in some ways, it's probably because I didn't do a flat lay picture of my kit, so I hadn't confirmed anything. And I think I felt like I had that freedom. And anyway, I dropped some gels, but fortunately was able to recover them. There were live music stations along the route. There were plenty of crowds cheering. And it really was fun. I had a great chat with a guy from Germany, and he was in a similar situation to me. Both started late and both trying to catch that 3:30 group. I very much enjoyed interacting with the crowd, cheering them on, getting them to cheer me on. A completely diverse, multicultural crowd, people from all nations represented, as there were runners. It was really great. And I'm gonna say I felt pretty good until the last few miles. I really did feel like I was able to conquer this marathon. It was incredibly hot, but it really was worth doing. Really, really was. I finished the race and I just had such a overwhelming sense of achievement. I feel so proud, really not of how I finished, but how I handled the disappointment of the change of start time. I really feel like that was a massive, massive step forward from a psychological perspective, and I'm really proud of that. So a few thoughts about the Lisbon Marathon and the organisation. Up until the change of time, the organisation of the Lisbon Marathon had been fantastic. Really great communication, a great expo which I went to on the Friday afternoon, and really everything was brilliant until they made the ludicrous decision at, well, the night before, to change the time of the race. I understand the reasoning, I completely agree with the reasoning, but that heat wave had been forecast all week. They could have told us about it on Friday, Thursday, even Saturday morning. Leaving it until Saturday night really did mess with a lot of people. As I was heading back through Cascais at 10, 11 kilometers, there were people that are only just started, and presumably because they had not seen the email, and so they were effectively running their marathon on their own with no camaraderie, no support from other runners, and that must have just been absolutely soul destroying. But overall, the experience running through the beautiful ancient city of Lisbon more than made up for it. So I'm guessing that you want to know how I got on. You want to know some of the details, some of the timings, and you know what, did I catch the 3:30 group? Did I catch the 4-hour group? Well, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I'm going to tell you all about it. Bad news is you're going to have to wait until the next video. So do like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the full video from the race. You'll find out how I got on. Thanks so much for watching. See you again soon.